I've known Raj first time when he narrated me Stree's script. I absolutely fell in love with the story idea. And I've known them since their first film, Show in the City.
एक ही चीज को आप दूसरी तरीके से देखो तो आप रोगे, जो आनंद में खासकर यूज किया गया है.
Badhaai Do really fits into that section where you are making a wonderful commercial film which will make you laugh.
नॉवेल्टी के लिए नहीं बनाना चाहिए कोई भी फिल्म, और हमारी नहीं है वैसे. We have actually gone beyond just that novelty factor कि अरे यार हमें टच कर रहे थे कोई सब्जेक्ट को. नहीं.
I don't think so anybody would say आप हमारा मजाक उड़ा रहे हो. That thing will definitely not be there. There can be difference of opinion, but I think that can only also till they watch the film.
Harsh and Raj, welcome on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you so much, Faridoon.
Thank you, Faridoon.
All right, so congratulations for Badhaai Do. And first of all, my question to you, Harsh, is that I think the good part is that the Bollywood think tank, at least they've risen above the entire portrayal of gay characters the way it used to be, in the comical manner and the body language and the puckering up of lips and stuff like that. So at least that is behind us. How important is that step to just maybe normalize any sort of relationship?
Yeah, it's very important to normalize the conversation, and which is why we are also kind of making this film. And that's the larger goal, right? The more you talk about it, the more you make films about it, the more you have characters which are not stereotypical, the more characters who are not stereotypical in a sense of even their professions. So that's where it just becomes a larger discourse, a larger conversation, because they're not seeing characters which otherwise were very stereotypical, that they belong to only a particular profession, So that's a beautiful thing. So that has been our endeavor.
All right. So Raj, you've worked in films which have dealt with the entire LGBT community issues and their predicaments. Now, आपके नजर में आप एक थिंकिंग एक्टर हैं. आपकी नजर में कितना जरूरी है लोगों को इस चीज का समझना कि इंस्टेड ऑफ जजिंग एनीवन, बहुत बार ये होता है कि भाई ये मेंटल इम्बैलेंस है, ये है, वो है. Instead of judging anyone, how important is it to accept people the way they are with their choices?
Well, it's the most important thing. It's the basic thing I feel which should be a norm in the society. We should not judge anybody on what they do inside their bedroom or on their sexual preferences. I think people's identity is way more than that. And that's what we are trying with this film. We're trying to normalize things, and we're trying to showcase, though everything is in a very humorous way. The trailer shows that it's a lot of comedy, which it is, but there's much more to it. It's a film made by very sensible makers like Harshavardhan Kulkarni, by very sensible producers and writers, and us actors, me and Bhumi and all of us involved are very responsible people. We understand the responsibility that we have on our shoulders while portraying somebody who's belongs to LGBTQIA community. I think the only way cinema, I believe that cinema, of course, maybe it won't change everyone, but if we can change even some people through our film, if we can change their mentality, and we can, by showcasing the pain or the loneliness sometimes, people from the community go through, if we can change some people through our film, that will be a great success for us.
All right. And now, Harsh, the interesting part is that if we talk about the LGBTIQ community itself, so they have a lot of opinions, and like I'm sure that once this film comes out, even they will have judgments and they will have opinions about the film as well. So when you're writing a film, when you're making a film, what is your thought process like in terms of involving maybe the voices from the community that in a way you are showcasing, and not merely making it to be like a commercial vehicle for anyone?
Yeah, there are 2-3 things about it. Like I completely agree with Raj. It's actually the writers itself are socially aware human beings. We, all of us, are socially aware people. So it isn't the reverse that we want to make a socially relevant film. Hence this particular story. So our attempt when they wrote the script also was listen, we will kind of do all the research. And we also had on board a script consultant who was from the queer community. But what we were doing was Akshat and Suman, they were writing it, they were writing the script, and they were actually putting themselves into the shoes with their own research. And then we would present it to him, whether we are off or not. Because, otherwise, it's just like there is a beautiful thing about, which is why I think it is great that we are making this film is there's a line that, it's just not about our sexual identity. Our life is not just that. Our life is much more than that. And that's what we are looking at. So when we look at other things and not just this under a microscope, you just make it even more normalized, because that's where you're seeing quirks and idiosyncrasies, which are not because of my identity, but because the way I am born, with my prejudices, with all the patriarchy that we are all born under, or these middle class value systems that we have. So yes, we did go through a lot of rounds of also showing this script to a group of people from the community. We also had narrations with them. But you know what, Faridoon, we just realized one thing, that at one particular time there was a huge argument that broke out between the two sections of the community, that this is right, this is not right, this is right, this is not right. So what we realized is there's no handbook for making a perfectly politically correct film. Finally, it's going to be our voice. Finally, we are going to say something which might not be agreeable to a few people, but hey, it was never done with an intention of hurting you or me. It's your ideology or it's your point of view. So it's not going to satisfy everyone, that we are also aware of. But it's being done with a lot of sensitivity, and we've taken enough care that we won't misrepresent the community in any which way.
That's amazing. All right. So, Raj, as Harsh just said that within the same group, there were different voices, and one said that this is the way it should be done, and the other one had different opinions. Now, अभी क्या होता है? जैसे at least promo में मुझे कहीं पर भी कोई offensive जो मतलब jokes नहीं लगे. कहीं पर भी, because I think humor जो है, humor का आपको एक जो tried and tested cliches हैं उस पर depend करना जो है, I think आज के time पे बेवकूफी है, because people are not accepting anything which is pedestrian or something which is done to death. So मुझे कहीं से भी किसी तरीके कोई objection नहीं लगा. लेकिन अभी क्या होता है, जैसे हर्ष ने कहा कि एक ग्रुप की एक ओपिनियन थी, दूसरे ग्रुप की दूसरी ओपिनियन थी. अभी एट टाइम्स क्या होता है कि मुझे लगता है कि अगर आप किसी भी तबके को अगर आप नॉर्मलाइज कर रहे हैं, तो एक ये भी होना चाहिए कि उनके भी आपस के उनके इनसाइड जोक्स हो सकते हैं. They can laugh at themselves, they can be funny. They don't have to be serious people. Okay, so but and which I think you guys are trying with the film, and which is I think entertainment is a great way of conveying a point, because it reaches far more, because far more people can relate to it. But then there can be people who can say कि यार आप हमारा मजाक उड़ा रहे हो. That's a very tight rope to walk on. As an artist, how do you do that?
Well, in our film, I don't think so anybody would say आप हमारा मजाक उड़ा रहे हो. That thing will definitely not be there. There can be difference of opinion, but I think that can only also till they watch the film. I'm pretty sure once they watch the film, and I'm pretty hopeful that they will like it. The way we have portrayed these characters on screen, and we have also spoken about their problems and the issues that they go through. It's not only that everything is in fun mode and they are only cracking jokes. No, there's much more to it. It's a way more sensitive. There are portions which will make you cry, hopefully, and there are portions, of course, which will make you laugh out loud. That is there for sure. But I think it's much more than that. And I would only say for people to wait and watch the film first. The trailer is in a certain way to grab everyone's attention, and that's how the film also it is. But there's much more to it, and the difference of opinion will always be there. Nothing is perfect in this world. Some people will say that even Godfather, it's a good film, but if they would have, so I think that would always be there. So I think you can never make everyone happy. That's why I think Harsh has rightly said that you should put your voice out. You should make what you feel like making and what you want to make. Of course, keeping in mind the responsibility factor there. But apart from that, you can't really make the film listening to everybody's opinion. That way it would be very tough to make your own film.
Right. Now, Harsh, I was having a discussion with a friend of mine. So he's here from Canada, and he's basically a huge fan of this middle of the road cinema that we've had, especially in 70s and 80s. So he's a huge fan of Amol Palekar and Sai Paranjpe brand of cinema, and Farooq Sheikh and all those people. Interestingly, in late 70s, there were only two actors who were considered sure shot box office winners, and one was Amitabh Bachchan and the second one was Amol Palekar. Amol Palekar had, I think, around 8 back-to-back hits or something like that in late 70s, which is phenomenal. And the interesting part is, बहुत बार जैसे बताया जाता है कि सिनेमा हॉल में आपके पास ये होना चाहिए, गाने होने चाहिए, आइटम सॉन्ग होना चाहिए, इस तरीके का ह्यूमर होना चाहिए, तभी आप certain sectors को cater कर पाएंगे. But I don't think that Basu Chatterjee had those thoughts in his mind. But his films, I think, are still, so watchable. Gulzar Saab's Angur, for example, as well. So, आपकी नजर में, because मुझे ये film कुछ उसी bracket में मुझे लगती है. This is my entire perception after watching the promo. आपकी नजर में कितना important है कि फिल्म को एक दूरदर्शिता के साथ बनाया जाए कि आज से 20 साल के बाद भी अगर लोग देखें तो उसको एक एंजॉय कर सकें एंड रिलेट कर पाएं, rather than catering for that weekend that many a times we are forced into.
जिनके भी नाम आपने लिए वो सब मतलब वही है, बस हीरोज हमारे लिए, ऋषिदा एंड बासु चटर्जी, सही परांजपे. सो हमारे लिए तो वही थे कि यार हमारे लिए मतलब यही फिल्म्स थे जो मिडल ऑफ द रोड थी, और प्लस ये बहुत एंटरटेन भी करती थी, बट कहीं तो एक रियलिज्म भी था. तो एक डेलिकेट बैलेंस के साथ होता था कि सब कुछ ही रियल नहीं था, काफी कुछ था जो थोड़ा लार्जर देन लाइफ था, बट देन अपने उस दायरे के अंदर रहते हुए. सो अक्षर और सुमन जो राइटर्स भी है, सो एक्चुअली वही एक मतलब एक आइडिया लेके ही निकले थे कि यार ऐसी कुछ तो हम फिल्म बनाएंगे, ऐसी कुछ मतलब वर्ल्ड में बनाएंगे जहाँ पे रियल भी है. Like, there is one more thing adding to what Raj was saying is also about humor, है ना, कि humor बहुत essential इसलिए नहीं है कि palatable बनाया जाए. बहुत लोग वो सोचते हैं कि ये मैं कोई भी फिल्म बनाता ना तो मुझे ये this is a tool for me which I love to explore and exploit. यार आप हंसा रहे हो और कहीं तो ना जब एक particular point आता है जब हंसी is also you feel am I supposed to be laughing at this? And suddenly you just stop and you're uncomfortable. That, I think, the punch that you get when you have these kind of things in a film and you explore humor in not just one simple way, it's not slapstick or it's not just one kind of humor that we are kind of catering to or looking at. ये कहानी कहने की एक तरीका, मतलब एक बोलने का एक तरीका होता है कि मुझे ट्रेजेडी में भी काफी कुछ एक आध चीज दिख जाता है जहाँ पे ह्यूमर है, और उसी को हम फिर रो देते हैं, है ना. लाइक दैट होल बाबू मोशाय वाला जो है, एक्चुअली दैट सीन इज सपोज्ड टू बी अ कॉमेडी सीन. व्हेन दे डिड दैट and you laughed at it, he also laughed at it, but when it was played back in the end, it was the biggest tragedy. You cried, you wept, buckets at that particular thing. तो एक ही चीज को आप दूसरी तरीके से देखो तो आप रोगे, जो आनंद में खासकर यूज किया गया है. सो आई थिंक यस, फॉर लॉन्जिविटी इट्स नॉट जस्ट नॉवेल्टी के लिए नहीं बनाना चाहिए कोई भी फिल्म, और हमारी नहीं है वैसे. वी हैव एक्चुअली गॉन बियॉन्ड जस्ट दैट नॉवेल्टी फैक्टर कि अरे यार हमें टच कर रहे हैं ऐसे कोई सब्जेक्ट को. नहीं, ये बहुत और डीपर हम ड्वेल कर रहे हैं इसके अंदर, एंड होपफुली इट विल हैव लॉन्ग लेग्स. आई मीन कोशिश तो हमेशा यही करते हैं कि जिंदगी भर याद रखी जाए हमारी ये फिल्म, हमारी ये दोस्ती.
That's amazing. All right, so राज, हम लोग बहुत ही दिलचस्प आई थिंक इस वक्त दौर में है कि आपकी फिल्म सिनेमा हॉल में रिलीज हो रही है. This is releasing in cinema halls, and I think situation is getting better, and I hope by the time it releases, things would be much better, and things are normalized very soon. लेकिन अभी हम लोग जैसे entertainment industry में OTT is something that has come up. People are having some really wonderful content and they're consuming it on OTT. At the same time, हमने एक ऐसा भी अभी एक phenomenon हम experience कर रहे हैं जो कि इसके बारे में पहले हमेशा चर्चा हुई, लेकिन now it has become like this huge thing that cannot be ignored. like especially South cinema cannot be called regional cinema anymore, because it is becoming more mainstream than anything else that is coming up. आप भी एक साउथ की फिल्म का आपने रीमेक में आप एक्टिंग कर रहे हैं. Taking all these things into context, then we have Hollywood, which is consuming a lot of attention span of people. Taking all these things into account, आपके नजर में कितना important है upping the game करना filmmakers का, especially अगर हम Bollywood की बात करें, चाहे वो writing के level पे हो, चाहे concepts के level पे हो, चाहे execution के level पे हो, to be more adventurous and risk taking, so that the content, because आज के time पे आप सिर्फ हर्ष जो है वो सिर्फ एक राजकुमार हिरानी से compete नहीं कर रहे, he's competing with the whole world now, because whole world is an oyster. So in that context कितना जरूरी है upping the game करना और एक certain world class element cinema में लेकर आना है, content में लेकर आना.
I think and Hollywood films are doing great, and even South Indian languages films are doing great. But I think otherwise also we should just up our game. Nevertheless, we don't have to be dependent on other films to do great, and then we should work upon our cinema. I think we should keep pushing our envelope every year with every film. We can't just keep making the same monotony of films that we've been making for many years. And it's been changed. It started changing almost maybe in early 2000, when all these new generation of filmmakers came and they started experimenting with their stories and their storytelling. I think it started from there. Even now, I guess Badhaai Do really fits into that section, where you are making a wonderful commercial film which will make you laugh, but also it's talking about something so important, and it will make you move. Once you're done watching the film, you will think about these two characters and the issues that they have and the problems that they face. I think that's the future of cinema, where you can either make a absolutely realistic film like a social drama, which the kind of films even I've done and I would keep doing, or a film like, this is a commercial film. These are the kind of commercial films I like, where you have songs, you have dance, but you're talking about something so important, because cinema have that power to bring in that change, which we all talk in our living rooms, get things, aise hona chahiye, aise hona chahiye. Cinema has that power to show you that.
Right. अभी आप एक series कर रहे हैं, Guns and Gulabs for Raj and TK. The moment I heard about it, my sentiment was, this guy is he has I think an amazing ambition. He loves to surprise, and ये stage जो है ये इनको world stage पे लेके जाएगा. This series somehow is going to break it for him somehow. I don't know. I have this feeling. I think Raj and TK, I think all of us, we know that they are brilliant directors and बहुत capable directors हैं. Basically, I think that they understand the medium from a world context as well.
Yeah.
How excited are you for Guns and Gulabs, and what is it that people can expect from him?
I am super excited about Guns and Gulabs. I've known Raj first time when he narrated me Stree's script. I absolutely fell in love with the story idea, and I've known them since their first film, Show in the City. Like we didn't really work together, but when he came home and he narrated me the idea, both Raj and DK. And I just thought it's so unique. And I've been their fan. I love Go Goa Gone. I love 99, Show in the City. So I thought they are, as you said, they are so brilliant as makers. And their ideas are so unique. And the quirk that they bring in their films is something which not many people do. And it was just high time. It was about time that we worked together. They were the writers and the co-producers on Stree. And then after that, we've been discussing about, getting together on something, and some ideas we were discussing, and it didn't really materialize. When this came up, and I just thought this is the right one for us to do, and we really admire each other a lot, and they are more than anything, they are friends. As Harsh knows, they're really amazing people. They're very funny people and very talented, both of them. So it's just so brilliant to the whole experience of working with friends and who are talented. I think that's the only thing what any artist would wish for, that you have a great time making a film or a series, and also make a good one. I think that's the only thing which we want always. क्यों हर्ष?
आज फ्लेवर्स देखा तूने? फ्लेवर्स उनका पहला फिल्म.
हाँ देखा.
So this used to run on Star Movies, and it was such a random. So that's where the first time you could sense that there is this original voice, and what lovely humor, what quirk. And 99 was like genuinely so funny. I mean, they're really, really cool. Yeah, cool guys. Yeah. Really cool filmmakers.
Yeah.